Welcome to a special video today. We are joined by Ryan Shao, founder of Solv. Thanks for joining us, Ryan.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Solv Protocol. I'm the founder of Solv Protocol.
There you go. If you guys don't know, Solv Protocol is one of the largest composable BTC protocols out there. They have some of the only yield-bearing Bitcoin that's been used on Chain, has been used on ETH mainnet, has been used on Binance Smart Chain. It is now sort of proliferating around more specifically or more recently, there we go, on Avalanche Chain, maybe some big incentives coming up there. But I want to ask you, where did Solv BTC come from?
So Solv BTC comes from all the people who stake their BTC on Solv Protocol. And we accept like the native BTC on Bitcoin mainnet and also like Binance BTC is called BTCB, and Coinbase BTC, which is CBBTC, and OKX BTC is XBTC. So we accept those and also WBTC. So we accept the native BTC and the BTC wrapper to mint Solv BTC. So you can deem like Solv BTC as the gateway for Bitcoin finance. If you want to make it into a productive asset, then you just put your BTC, stake your BTC to get Solv BTC.
So you have a bunch of different types of BTCs that can act as the backing of Solv BTC, but then all of these backing BTCs then do something to generate some sort of yield for these end products. I've seen there's a Jupiter end product, a Binance launch pools end product, and then even an XSolv BTC, which I think has some sort of yield on it. How do these different products work?
So I give you an example, like XSolv BTC, currently we are taking like Babylon as the yield source. So, because XSolv BTC is kind of positioned as the cash management solution for Bitcoin staking. So that's why like the principal protection is something that pretty like necessary for these kind of products. That's why we take Babylon. But in the future, there should be some other like Bitcoin staking kind of infrastructure comes out, and then we will take them as the underlying assets as well for XSolv BTC. And then like for the other like Jupiter, or maybe we can take BNB, this one. So we take BTC as a collateral to borrow like BNB and then stake BNB into listed DAO to get launch pools yields. So the yields comes from all those of the launch pool token airdrop. So this is how it works. So
I have a question here. So Solv BTC BNB participates in all of the launch pools on Binance. Is it auto-compounded back into Solv BTC, or do you get these as airdrops to the wallet?
Actually, it's auto-compounding.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's getting 2 to 6% APY sort of intrinsically from the auto-compounding Binance launch pools. How often are those distributions? And do you guys smooth the APR, or is it like airdrops hit and there's a spike in the NAV?
It depends on like what's the frequency of launch pools happen, right? So every time like launch pools happen, list BNB the NAV of it would go up, and then we will our votes to execute to sell some list BNB into BTCB. Then that's how we get the yields for BNB.
And I see here there's BNB chain, Bear chain, and Hyper EVM. Now, I know you want to talk about the Jupiter vault, but I'm kind of excited here. Hyper EVM is blowing up. Everyone is like farming Hyper EVM season 1 or like Hype season 2. You guys have positioned this product on Hype EVM?
Yes, for sure. So like Hyper EVM, it seems the ecosystem there are interested in like SolBTC.BNB because they want to get some yields from some very sustainable and very solid kind of yield source. So of course, Binance Launch Pool is one of the best kind of sustainable yield source in the space, right? So that's why they want to like us like we do have some conversation with the team, and it seems like SolBTC.BNB is the one that should be expanded to Hyper EVM. So it turns out that the users on Hyper EVM would be able to purchase SolBTC.BNB very easily because we open a gateway here.
So one question I mean, not even a question, but one remark I wanted to make is I was playing with, I think it was the rootstock yields. And what I was amazed by was the ability to mint the yield-bearing version of the BTC on the chain natively, almost anywhere you go. So I'm not sure that's the same
Yes,
with Hyper EVM, but I'm clicking Hyper EVM and it looks like I might be able to mint Solv BTC BNB on Hyper EVM. Is that true?
exactly, exactly.
So
So
this sort of
yeah,
like if you're worried about swapping into like an exotic BTC, if you're worrying about like bridging costs or bridging fees, you guys have managed all of that. I don't know how. Like what is the tech stack on the
yes.
background allowing you guys to do that?
There's a vote. There's a vote. So firstly, the users need to bridge like the Solv BTC to Hyper EVM by themselves. Maybe
Right.
they can mint Solv BTC on Hyper EVM by themselves.
But usually
And
I've
then
seen like layer zero, you guys have used a lot of layer zero bridging. So Stargate has been one to
exactly.
one to a lot of places. I don't know if that's the same for Hyper
Yes.
EVM, but
Yeah. Yeah. Chainlink, Stargate, those of the infra allow users to bridge their Solv BTC to Hyper EVM. And secondly, once they decided to like deposit their Solv BTC into this vault, it then like the underlying Bitcoin would be deposited by the vault into Venus or into Lisa DAO. Then we can borrow against them to get BNB. And then we stick the BNB into Lisa DAO. All the transaction happen on chain. So it's operated by a vault.
okay. So they bring over the Solv BTC. They mint Solv BTC BNB on Hyper
Mhm.
EVM, but on the back end, what's happening is the underlying value of the collateral of Solv
Exactly.
BTC is then being collateralized, borrowed with
Yes.
US. Okay, I see, I see. That's awesome. What a
Yeah.
cool mechanism. Okay, so what are you guys doing over on Hyper EVM? I know everyone I've seen is like looping everything to try to get maximum exposure to the airdrops. Are you guys participating in sort of that narrative?
Yes, I think like we do have the very similar kind of strategy on each chain. No matter it's a BNB chain, Ethereum, Solana, or Hyper EVM. So firstly, we will consider to work with the lending protocol on those of the chain to achieve or like to make us enable us to do some looping strategy. I think this is what the most of the like the DeFi users like, right? And secondly, we will also build some like liquidity on DEX to make sure that all the users can withdraw their Solv BTC instantly through DEX. So I think
Okay,
that's the
so
second
I,
thing.
I have a question here. You guys ran an amazing campaign on Rootstock with this ridiculous APRs for building liquidity there. Do you plan
Mhm.
on using like a Merkle-like campaign or some sort of incentive campaign to build liquidity on Hyper EVM, or do you already have
Sure.
liquidity on Hyper EVM?
I think it's all ongoing. That's something we want to do in the short term future. So yeah, that's the same strategy on each chain.
So, I
Since
mean,
it's quite
guys, go look out for that. I also know, because I talked to Knox recently, I think, that you guys will be potentially doing some incentives over on the Avalanche chain on LFJ.
yes.
Or rather,
Like
Avalanche is going
I
to be doing
think
the incentives. I don't know. There's going to be incentives for
there's some
something.
incentives. Yes, I think for Avalanche is the chain that we already deployed for a long time. I think for at least several months, three to 4 months. So there's some very sustainable kind of trading volume, trading activities happen on the Solv BTC trading pair. Yeah, and also like
But now you
Avalanche.
guys have Solv BTC AVAX as well.
Yes, yes. This is something that we are exploring. So to not just building pair between Solv BTC with BTC,
Mhm.
but also Solv BTC with some other like native altcoins on chain. So
And Solv BTC.AVAX, is that like running a liquid state loop AVAX strategy on the back end, or is that like a special
oh, this
derivative for the
is
Avalanche chain?
yeah, this is a special strategy designed for Avalanche chain. So we take like BTC as a collateral to borrow stablecoin and then deposit that's like deploy the stablecoins into some stablecoin strategy on Avalanche
Oh, okay.
specifically. So that's why
So it's like
how the use
ecosystem
comes from.
supportive.
Yes, exactly. So it's supported by Avalanche Foundation.
Okay, which kind of, I mean, so there's one more I wanted to look at. I know like Hyper EVM is, we could literally have the entire hour just on Hyper EVM because it's sort of the topic of the day, but I wanted to ask you about a few of these other ones. From my
Sure, Peter.
perspective, as someone who's been following Solv for a long time, the Jupiter
Mm-hmm.
BTC has been the one
Mm-hmm.
that's created the most consistent, reliable yield for most users. It's been like
Exactly.
solvbtc.jup. Can you explain what this
Yes.
product is and sort of like how it works? It's really weird to have an EVM Solv BTC derivative that's getting Solana-based yields.
Yes. So I want to firstly try to like clarify the whole framework or the whole architecture of Solv. So firstly, there's some like gateway for users to participate into Solv. No matter it's Hyper EVM, Solana, BNB, or Ethereum. So it means that you can put your Solv BTC into different like votes to get different type of deals. But for the backend, it's quite complicated and also comprehensive. That your underlying assets will be used to like deposited into different vaults, and then will be operated by the vaults into like different chain. Maybe it's a Solana chain, maybe it's a BNB chain, or maybe it's an Avalanche chain, right? But for most of the users, just one click to get the use very sustainably. So that's how we want to like really provide the best kind of user experience to the users. So for the Jupiter one, it's quite similar with Athena. It's a trading strategy. It's a delta neutral trading strategy that the underlying Bitcoin will be deployed into Jupiter to purchase JLP, Jupiter LP token. Then you can get the use from all the transaction activities happen on like Jupiter, right? And it's pretty sustainable, as we can see in the past like several years. It seems like the Solana ecosystem is pretty like thriving. And then like once we deploy the Bitcoin there, we should have a centralized exchange kind of hedging strategy to hedge all the positions on Jupiter. So that's a similar strategy as like Athena. That's why I say that. And all the hedging kind of position will be put under like Sifu. It's a custody kind of solution provider.
Yep,
So
they're fantastic.
that's how it works. Yes. Then the whole strategy is delta neutral strategy. Yeah. That's how the use comes from.
Yeah, so like, I don't know if anyone remembers, but when we were at the height of meme coin season and Solana was exploding and I think Trump coin was launching,
yes,
people who were wise, BTC.JUP or Solv BTC JUP was at like 14, 12, 15% APR for a couple of weeks.
At that
it was pretty wild.
I think from the historical kind of data that we can stimulate, it should be averaging like 7 to 10% for the whole year. So, but that's averaging. Sometimes
right, because
maybe
there were
15.
some huge moments of volume. JLP fluctuates, but it's kind of cool because it's like going long on volatility and volume while being only exposed to Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly. But no matter what, so it's a Bitcoin denominated year because it's all compounding. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we get all those of the sustainable use from a sustainable ecosystem, which is like Jupiter and Solana. That's the logic behind this.
Now, people have kind of taken a liking to this specific asset. I was like looking at the Solana ecosystem recently and noticed on Fragametric. So Fragametric is like this liquid restaking protocol. And I saw they had like a liquid restaked Frag Solana. And obviously, you know, they're going to have that because they're on Solana. But they also have a Frag BTC. And I noticed that their yield is coming from Solv BTC.JUP. Yes,
exactly. Because they, as a kind of Solana ecosystem project, it seems they are very bullish on Solana's future. That's why they want to support the use from Solana. So Frag BTC could be minted by Solv BTC.JUP. And then once we got Frag BTC, then we can do looping strategy, do a lot of on-chain stuff on Solana through Frag BTC. So that's how we work with Fragmetric to really kind of unlock the potential and composability of Solana.
That's fantastic because Solana has been like desperately needing cool and interesting yields. And I for a long time, the Frag BTC on RateX and Frag BTC on Exponent, which I don't have up, has been over 10%. Now it's around 5-4%, but 5-4% fixed rate, fixed date on a BTC derivative is really, really impressive. Hopefully we can loop those on Camino or, you know, somewhere soon. The other one that I wanted to, let's hope. Fingers crossed. The other thing I wanted to mention here, like there's these things are everywhere. So from a user who just doesn't necessarily know what ecosystem they want to play with, doesn't know which BTC derivative they want to play with, have you guys considered wrapping all of these into like a master strategy or sort of putting these all together?
Yeah, sure. So it's something called like master vote. So we have a product. We name it BTC Plus, but it's gonna be released soon, very, very soon, in like 2 weeks. So it's something that, yes. So we have considered this kind of thing for a long time. So, cause as you can see, we provide different type of products here. and each one got over like 1,000 BTC, so which is over $100 million, kind of the TVL. So it's pretty good, but it's not good enough because every asset has its like there should be like an ending for these assets. Maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months. Like maybe for Jupiter, it could be 2 years or longer, but we don't know. Maybe 3 years later, Jupiter, maybe there's a new kind of perp dex come out to win. Yeah. So this is, everything has I think it's period. So that's why we have different product lines that has different kind of the different period. The first one is the Solv BTC. I think Solv BTC could be 10 years because like something that if Solv BTC is useful, that help you to, as a tool to open the gateway for everyone to participate into Bitcoin finance. And we shouldn't like define what is like exactly the Bitcoin finance it is now, because it could be changed all the time in the next 10 years.
BTC is so new.
Yes, it's so new. But Solv BTC is the gateway here. Then it should be 10 years, right? And then for the XO BTC is something, it's a cash management solution. Then we want to make it to 5 years. So at least 5 years, no matter, it could be Babylon or it could be something else, but we will keep like working on this part to find out something that very secure, principal protected, but very kind of sustainable yields. Maybe just 1% yield is enough. No more than 1%, but it should be very safe. And then the third thing is BTC Plus. BTC Plus is something, it's a fourth. Actually, it's a master vault, like over all those of the vaults here, the LST here, no matter it's a Barra chain, BNB, Jupiter, because we deem this as a 1 to 3 years kind of products that no matter, maybe like Barra chain vaults could like survive, has a very good performance for following half year, but later we don't know. But what about something else? Then we'll put all those new vaults under this BTC Plus. So that's all the logic behind this BTC Plus, and the use should be around like 5%. So we got 3 type of products, like 0 for Solv BTC, but it's useful. And then for XOBTC 1%, and BTC Plus should be 5%. Sometimes maybe like under it or sometimes over it. So yeah, so that's how we define.
So Solv BTC is like the unit of account. You can use this anywhere. Yes. It's effectively just wrapped BTC with really robust custodial solutions for the underlying BTC. It's backing it all. Yes. You can take it to any chain and use it as BTC, collateralize it, borrow against it, whatever you want to do. Then you have XL BTC, which is hyper secure, hyper safe, not very much yield, but you're getting yield on your Bitcoin. You're holding Solv. You don't have to look at it. You can set it and forget it. And then finally, you have Solv BTC Plus, which is this higher yielding index of all of the underlying strategies. And this is sort of a living organism, because as some yields get better, as some yields get worse, you can change the weighting and sort of change how Solv BTC Plus manages these yields so that the end user is always sort of getting an optimized exposure to this without having to do his own sort of portfolio management.
Yes, that's exactly what we want to do. Yeah, I think it's perfect. It's a very perfect kind of conclusion.
And so if someone is saying like, well, maybe I'm a little bit more up the risk curve, I now want to leverage this. Solv BTC is the perfect borrowable asset because it doesn't have yield on it. So you could take Solv BTC Plus, put it as collateral on one of these money markets, borrow Solv BTC, loop that. Maybe you're going to get a net 8% or 9%. And then that gets really spicy for Bitcoin yields.
Yes, that's exactly the users are doing now. Yeah. And they can borrow but I should say, very interestingly, Solv BTC has a little bit use because we got point system, right? So I say it's maybe for a long-term perspective, there's no use, but for now, there's still maybe 0.5 or kind of no more than 1% use here. So that's why the users sometimes they borrow the BTCB and mint Solv BTC and do looping. So they can get like 2 or 3 layers of the use.
They get leverage exposure to the points.
Yes, exactly.
So let's move into that. Tell me about the Solv token. Season 1 was a hit. Now you guys are in season 2. What's going on with season 2? And then what's the future of the Solv token?
This month. Yeah, for this month, like season 2 gonna end it. Gonna end it and then like I think it's 17 July. So 2 weeks later. Yeah, so then it will
You
be
can officially
season
announce
three.
that because I've been asking the Solv team. Are you sure?
Yeah,
All right.
I think I mean like the ending of season two is
Right.
that timing, but
The distribution might
the
be later.
timing of distribution, yeah, will be later, a little
Mhm.
bit later. So it's something still like not determined yet. Yeah. So, but for the season three, we want to do something like new for our users because it seems like point system is something that not it's not a very effective kind of tool to really
Right.
kind of incentivize the users that anymore, right? So, I
It's
mean,
great for a season one, great to bootstrap a protocol, but once I mean, you guys are at $2 billion of TVL, so you know,
yes,
bootstrapping has happened. Now you're sort of in the
yes,
phase where scaling at institutional level is sort of what you're looking for, and points don't entice institutions as much as they entice like DeFi power users.
exactly, exactly. So, what we want to do is that we want to like incentivize some future I mean some tokens, but it's in future format. It's not something that it's not a spot token. So like it's something like VSolve to the users, and you can swap the VSolve into Solv at some like fixed like exchange rate.
Yep.
Before the season three kind of the ending of the season three. So that's how we can provide very kind of calculatable APY for most of the users because you don't need to like
You don't need to
guess, you don't
incentivize
need to
everyone. There's probably very
worry.
specific actions you want to incentivize and some actions you don't
Exactly.
really care about. And you want to sort of direct TVL with the incentives rather than give incentives for
Hmm.
everyone just to grow like, small ecosystems here and there. So let's
Yes,
talk about the
exactly.
Solv token. What is a Solv
Hmm.
token? What does it do? And what's the future of it?
So yeah, of course, Solv token is a governance token for Solv for sure, right? And so currently, actually, Solv token there's no utility on it because we are still trying to like get more clarity on the all the potential regulatory related kind of risk on it first. But of course, like Solv token, there should be some staking program gonna release so people can all the users can stake their Bitcoin to get more but stake their Solv token to get more Solv. So that's the one thing. The second thing is that because we got a Bitcoin reserve, so we would generate we are generating yield for that Bitcoin reserve as well. So all the yields maybe in the future the Bitcoin reserve itself could be distributed to Solv token holder in some way. Maybe maybe users like stake Solv token for a long time. They will be get some free BTC airdrop. Can you imagine that? So Solv token becomes a kind of mining machine, on-chain mining
Yep.
machine for Bitcoin.
Mhm.
So that's how we want to position Solv. Because like Solv protocol itself as I think it's one of the largest kind of infrastructure for Bitcoin finance. And then for Solv token itself should be something that get all the alpha, all the opportunities on Bitcoin ecosystem. So that's how we position it. But of course, there's some uncertainty ahead of us that we will try to like sort all the things out, all the details out. But yeah, but that should be the way that we move forward.
Okay, well, so I have another question for you. I have seen rumblings, some in some X posts, some are Twitter posts. I still call it Twitter. I'm an old man. I think all
Sure.
the cool kids are calling it X now. About Solv becoming something like the on-chain MicroStrategy. Now, this is obviously a really exciting narrative, but I have no idea what it means. So, can you sort of break this down for me and explain what it means to sort of be the on-chain MicroStrategy and what the future of Solv is as a protocol or
Yes.
institution?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think we are not just like MicroStrategy. We're even like more exciting kind of things than MicroStrategy. Firstly, we are building a on-chain Bitcoin reserve. So we will like issue like convertible bonds as well. Like it's a kind of like the Solv token based on Solv token to raise Bitcoin. Secondly, we will like generate yield for Bitcoin. Thirdly, we will generate a lot of protocol revenue in a like denominated by Bitcoin and put those of the Bitcoin into our reserve. So all those of the reserve will be used to back Solv token's value. So that's how we want to define the relationship between this reserve with Solv token. So yeah, so this is what exactly MicroStrategy is doing, right? But it's in the on-chain kind of way.
So, okay, let's talk about this convertible bonds. Convertible bonds means
Hmm.
they can take their Bitcoin and they can then buy Solv with that Bitcoin. And since the bond, so there's some sort of like discount they get with a bonding period of X amount of days. So they get discounted
Yes.
Solv. You guys get Bitcoin. They're purchasing. They benefit from purchasing at a discount. Also, they're benefiting their own asset by increasing the NAV of Solv in BTC.
Exactly. I mean, like for most of the institutions, the biggest challenge is that how to like really deploy the money into altcoin that gonna get more kind of profit than just holding Bitcoin.
Yep.
In this cycle, it's really difficult. But like Solv kind of on-chain like Bitcoin strategy really provide such kind of opportunity. So they can decide if they want to put like 10 Bitcoin or even 1,000 Bitcoin into Solv to get Solv token to buy the future of Solv. So I mean,
Yep.
This is how we really kind of get the balance for them.
When will this be happening? So this is a very big idea. It sounds pretty
Yes.
novel. I haven't seen any other protocol really do on-chain convertible bonds yet. When do you anticipate this being live?
We are the first one that doing this, but it seems we got 2 rounds of like convertible bonds already. We have issued that raised around $20 million BTC already. So actually there's around 20 million BTC. So compared to like MicroStrategy, it's still very small, but it's just a start. We can do it for a long time and really accumulate a lot of Bitcoins. And then at that time, it will really kind of affect a lot of things.
Now, is this available to the end user who has like Bitcoin and they want to buy Solv at a discount, or is this only available to institutions currently?
Currently, we only offer it to institutions. Yeah,
now, will that change in the
something
future,
that
or is it like each round is always going to be institutional?
it could be changed in the future. Yeah, for the third round or fourth round, we'll consider to get more, maybe some whitelisted users or whitelisted partners. Yeah, I think that would be the second kind of stage. And then for the third stage, maybe we can open it to all the on-chain users. But it depends on all the potential kind of regulatory risk here. So we are considering.
Well, that's one of the other cool things about Solv is you guys have been hyper concerned being regulatorily compliant.
Yes. That's why I think we are kind of like institutional grade kind of infrastructure that we have also got the Sharia compliance certificates from UAE that we can offer our Bitcoin staking products to those of the UAE sovereign funds. So that's all the things that we are making efforts, because I think that's pretty important for the future of no matter DeFi and also TradFi.
That's right. And hopefully there is more regulatory tailwinds that will make this sort of protocol be able to grow faster and faster and faster as BTC adoption goes. I mean, it already is going global, but as more states, countries, sovereigns start to accumulate Bitcoin and start wanting to get yield on that Bitcoin and wanting to do something with it and put it to work, maybe regulations will start to relax, and then you guys will be able to grow at an even faster pace. Now, question to you. We have seen 200 stablecoin products launched in the last year, but very few yield-bearing Bitcoin products. You guys decided not to go with stablecoins, but with Bitcoin specifically, make a big bet on Bitcoin. I think it probably paid off since you guys have launched.
Yes.
Why Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Because like in 2023, we were considering to release Solv USD or Solv BTC.
Yep.
Actually, that's a very important kind of decision for me, myself, and also for the whole team. So at that time, we realized that Bitcoin, it would be the main thing in this cycle. Like no matter for the governments, as you mentioned, like all the company and also all on-chain kind of protocols, I think everyone would build the infrastructure around Bitcoin. And also we can see there are a lot of kind of innovative stuffs happen on Bitcoin mainnets, OPCats, Taproots, and also Ruins, Ordinals, all those of the kind of like BTC NFT kind of the assets happen. So we realized that this should be the future. And also as a team in Asia, because most of our team in Asia, it's pretty easy for us to tap into a lot of Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin, like the big whales. So that's why we want to start from Bitcoin first. Because for the stablecoin, at that time, we know that team well from that time. So it seems we realized that they are really kind of powerful team that good at execution, good at all the strategic stuff, and good at marketing. So that's why we think, oh, Bitcoin would be maybe a bigger kind of opportunity for us, especially for us. So that's why we decided to take it. But now I think like Bitcoin is sometimes I feel like Bitcoin is something is of course there should be a lot of exploring kind of opportunities out there, even more than like stablecoin. So that's why we are kind of very bullish on this until now.
It's a really good timeline to be in Bitcoin. I mean, 2023 to now, if you look at the price of Bitcoin and then the price of a dollar, had you been a
Yes.
dollar denominated protocol, your TVL may not have doubled. So
Yes.
that's phenomenal. So congratulations on making that calculated positional bet. And then also congratulations on the growth to $2 billion of TVL and over 1.15 million users, which is rather remarkable. So you've talked about the bonding with Solv and sort of building up this reserve. What is that reserve going to be used for? You said it's like backing the Solv token. So like Solv will have some sort of NAV, have some sort of actual intrinsic value, and it's Bitcoin denominated, so it aligns with the ethos of the protocol. What else do you anticipate doing with this, and how else may it give tailwinds to the protocol?
Yes, I think that's a good question. So we are also like trying to figure out it, like the reference from MicroStrategy. So what could MicroStrategy do on their Bitcoin? Then how do those of the Bitcoin's kind of value reflect on MicroStrategy's kind of stocks performance? I mean, that's all the things that we try to learn, because that's all the new things here, right? So I mean, for us, like from long-term kind of logic, all the Bitcoin should be distributed to all the Solv token holder. This is something that's a long-term, very long-term.
Right.
But from a short-term perspective, what we can do is to like really be able to really kind of generate some yields on this kind of the Bitcoin, and then distribute all the like the yields here to all those Solv token staker. Then we can get a better performance on the Solv token price, and then then we will be able to like incentivize users through our kind of point system. No, maybe in the future it's not gonna be point system. Maybe it's just a token incentive kind of system, and then we can grow faster and even bigger, maybe like $10 billion in the future. And then like the whole things, the whole business model could be very considerable. And then the Solv token kind of valuation or kind of performance could be very good, quite attractive as well. So I mean, that's the logic behind it. So I think there's still a lot of kind of clarity. But yeah, we are trying to like figure it out, all the time. I mean,
well, it's interesting because now you're using points as an incentivization mechanism, and also just the yield of the underlying BTC derivatives as an incentive mechanization. In the future, if you have this big cache of Bitcoin that's generating yield for you, that is now a new source of revenue that you can distribute sort of discretionarily. Do you want to use it for incentives? Do you want to incentivize this? And it'll be Bitcoin denominated. So you'll literally have Bitcoin to use for incentives. And I think there's probably no juicier incentive out there than actually getting Bitcoin as a yield. My question to you then is, we've seen a lot of Bitcoin derivatives launch. We've seen like, BTC, LBTC, Babylon BTC, but very few of them have yield, one. And then two, not many of them are composable because they don't have yield. You guys have gone for the hyper composability route. Why did you guys choose to be so DeFi native?
I think that's how it all depends on our thinking and all the lessons that we have learned in the past 5 years. Because we have been dedicated on Solv for 5 years. I don't know if you know that. So from like 2020, before DeFi summer, we decided to all in DeFi because for me, myself, I'm really fascinated with the power of smart contracts. It's really create trust in very, very low cost way. So, I mean, this is something that for no matter for everyone that want to revolutionize the financial system, then you should take this technology, right? So, I mean, this is the first thing. The second thing is that we really believe the DeFi's kind of power is for composability. So for looping strategy, and for like trading DEX liquidity, then you allow the users to get instant liquidity. That's all the best user experience that you can provide for a normal kind of financial service kind of demanders. So that's the best kind of service that you can provide. Because recently I realized that like the Bitcoin ETF, because we try to work with Bitcoin ETF to tokenize Bitcoin ETF on chain into Solv BTC. because Solv BTC could wrap native BTC, BTCB, so Coinbase BTC. So why not Fidelity BTC and BlackRock BTC, right? So then they will also ask one question, is that why I need to bring this kind of things on chain? Why don't I just take it to the bank to borrow against it? So I would tell them that, oh, you take it to Compound, to like MakerDAO or Venus, you just like take maybe 10 seconds, no more than 10 seconds, then you can borrow against it. It's way efficient than a bank, right? And those also, you can do looping, you can do a lot of stuff, you can get instant liquidity just on chain in a much, I think it's really less cost way to ship this, right? So I mean, this should be the future of the financial ecosystem, especially for Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin is a crypto native assets. The largest asset here, it should be like all the financial activities should be happen on chain. So that's why I think like to really drive all the adoption on DeFi should be the way for everyone in the crypto or everyone that believes in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a Bitcoin investor, then you should at least be on chain. You should experience on chain. You should understand what on chain finance is, and like genuinely believe in the product that you're invested in. Now, I think there's like one in 3 or 1 in 4 Americans hold some amount of crypto or Bitcoin or whatever it is. Go play with it, experience it, understand why this is the future of finance. Now, you mentioned this idea of taking your Bitcoin and maybe you could bring an ETF to Fidelity or something, ask to borrow a loan against them and go through the entire process, or you can just go on chain and borrow against it immediately without any paperwork, any hassle, and no permission. So recently I saw you guys get on ListDAO. ListDAO is this like very expanding protocol on Binance Smart Chain. They're becoming huge. They're doing a lot of the underlying yield for many protocols now. You guys are on there. And this is part of how you guys get the list are the Solv BTC BNB yield. But I wanted to say, like, this is actually a question that I personally had. You guys are one of the biggest collaterals for Lista USD1. Now, USD1 is like the stablecoin issued by World Liberty Financial.
Liberty Finance.
Right. Thank you. World Liberty Finance. Shout out to Corey Kaplan, a big fan of his.
Yeah. So I think USD1 is the stablecoin that I'm pretty bullish on. So, cause it seems like it should be still like $1, but I mean like the volume here should be pretty high, cause like it's highly supported by Binance ecosystem. So it seems like Binance, cause as you can see, Binance accepts $2 billion investment, from that like Dubai, UAE family office in the form of USD1. So then it seems like Binance Treasury itself, that holds around $2 billion of USD1. So then like Binance need to distribute this USD1 to all the holders. I mean like be it Binance users, right? So I think USD1 is a stablecoin that I'm pretty bullish on. I mean like the volume here should be pretty high, because like it's highly supported by Binance ecosystem. So it seems like Binance, because as you can see, Binance accepts $2 billion investment, from that like Dubai, UAE family office in the form of USD1. So then it seems like Binance Treasury itself, that holds around $2 billion of USD1. So then like Binance need to distribute this USD1 to all the holders. I mean like be it Binance users, right? So firstly, they will start from BNB chain. So that's why ListDAO, Venus, all those of the chains, all those of the protocols users gonna get some USD1. So I mean, so this is the future. Recently I'm thinking a question, which is like, where's the alpha comes from? Because for the last cycle, all the layer 1 and layer 2s are the alpha, because they incentivize a lot to all the DeFi users. So the DeFi users, you need to learn how to bridge your token across different chains and get all those incentives. But what about next cycle? Because everything or every asset has its own life cycle. This is something that I believe. So what's the things for next cycle? What's the assets for next cycle? I would say it's a stablecoin. So there should be a lot of stablecoins come out, and they try to incentivize users to hold it. So that's why they will provide a very low interest. Sorry. So they are borrowing, high yields of our borrowing interest. And that's where the alphas or the yields comes from for all the DeFi users. I mean, this is the future. So no matter it's the USD1 or no matter in the future it's the BlackRock's Buildo, or like it's a Van Egg kind of T-bills stable coins or whatever it is, they would try to incentivize it. They will provide the alphas
Yep.
to us. Then that's how we generate use or how we make more money. So that's why actually specifically USD1 is the key partnership for us. And also in the future, there should be more. I think there should be like over 100 type of like the stable coins come out I mean, new stable coins come out on chain. Then we'll work with them very closely and allow our users to really borrow against Bitcoin, get them in a very low cost way, and then to generate more yield. So yeah, that's our logic and strategy.
I was going to mention, you guys are the direct beneficiary of this because you guys have positioned yourself in such a way where most of your vaults are doing a strategy that involves borrowing a stablecoin, getting a yield on that stablecoin, then passing it along in terms of Bitcoin to the
Yes.
end user. If there is this sort of battle for stablecoin hegemony and the interest rates go down and down and down on the borrowing cost for stablecoins, you guys are direct
Yes,
beneficiaries of
exactly.
this. And if they're also fighting on the yield side for higher and higher yields and lower borrow cost, then all of that for you guys gets passed on to Bitcoin. And as crypto explodes, Bitcoin has the most clearest direct relationship to like total market cap of crypto. I see the vision. I see the vision. I
Yeah.
love it. It's fantastic. And also, I never thought of this from like you want low interest rates to get your stablecoin out there in distribution and sort of try to get some sort of hegemony. USDT did like there's no yield
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
USDT, and yet USDT is one of the most profitable, if not the most profitable
Yes, I
company in the
think so.
world. Tether, they're phenomenally
Mhm.
profitable. And okay, so I know we're running out of time, but you made me so excited with that whole conversation. So I'm gonna give you a moment to close it out. Any sort of upcoming things to know? Any sort of final thoughts on Solv? Whatever you want to say, the floor is
Yes, I
yours.
think like two things here. One is that I think everyone deserves to hold one Bitcoin. Um, Although a lot of people think like Bitcoin is still now is already very expensive, but I think it's still worthy to do it because like Bitcoin is I think there's a lot of kind of like uncertainty in the world that would make the people to really got this momentum to hold Bitcoin. Then there's still a huge alpha. So for me myself, I hold Bitcoin. Um, as my the I think the most portion of my money. And also I do business on Bitcoin, so I'm really bullish on Bitcoin now. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing, like just make the Bitcoin not be a idle assets, just make it into productive assets. So because like there are a lot of things that you can do on your Bitcoin, just like what you do on your like real estate or gold. So you can borrow against it. Then you got a lot of like liquidity. You can do a lot of stuff. You can earn a lot of money, or you can like make it to maybe buy some real estate in the real world. So then you can do borrowing lending. And also you can generate some like very sustainable yields on your Bitcoin. Then that's still pretty funny. And I think this will be the future of the whole Bitcoin finance. So that and also that's our vision. That's it.
You're gonna give a sailor a run for his money in terms of being a Bitcoin bull. I love it. And also, I mean, a lot of people have been considering this strategy. Why not? I'm not recommending this to anybody, but why not just
Yeah,
like
sure.
put your net worth in Bitcoin and then borrow against it and spend that? Therefore, you have no capital gains tax if you never sell your Bitcoin. You have no income tax if everything is in Bitcoin. And then you can borrow, and as long as Bitcoin is performing decent, well, or okay, your net worth
Hmm.
isn't changing or it's going up, and you can sort of spend the value of that however you want. We've sort of seen other products come out here like the EtherFi Cash Card where you can spend money against Bitcoin. I'd love to see a product where I could spend money against my sort of Solv BTC so I can keep my Solv
Hmm.
BTC forever and then use the value of that. I mean, you can do that now by just borrowing on Aave or borrowing on Venus, borrowing on wherever.
Yeah.
But you got me all bulled up on Bitcoin all over again, and I'm excited. So thank you, Ryan,
Hmm.
so much for your time. It was a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you.
And go check out Solv on Hyper EVM. Go check out Solv on Listed DAO. Go check out Solv Jupe. Go check out Frag BTC. Whatever you want to do, make your Bitcoin do some work for you. Get some yield on it. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.